An across-the-board 1% statewide budget cut. It may sound like a radical idea, but one state lawmaker is ready to take it on. Hi, welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Beverly Weaver. We are here in the state capitol talking with state lawmakers as they meet in legislative session. And I'm talking right now with Senator Owen Hill about this idea of this budget cut. Senator, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Beverly, thanks so much for having me
today.
today.
Now let's talk about this idea you have. Tell me what you're proposing and really why you think it's important for the state to take this on.
Absolutely. It's a radical idea, Beverly. Let me tell you, 1%. And I don't expect it to pass, but I think it's time for us to highlight some of the real dysfunction we've been seeing and most people feel with government right now. You see, we have a record budget in Colorado, about $22 billion this year, and yet at the same time, really since the turn of the century, we've seen average Coloradans' paycheck, take-home pay, reduced by almost $4,000. I mean, it's almost a 10% cut in many ways. And so what we have is we've got a century where we've been growing and building government in Denver and in DC, and it's time to start rethinking. It's time to change that conversation about how do we empower local communities, how do we empower individuals in a personal way that builds up human dignity rather than some of the, it's very impersonal what we do up here.
Yeah.
We have 100 people in the room and we got 5.2 million people in Colorado. They're best fit to deal with their own problems.
Right, so you feel like if there was a statewide budget cut, a state budget cut if you will, that they would be more independent to fund programs as they feel they need to, put their money where they felt it needed to go.
Right, and as you drive around the state, I'm sure you see it, right? We have different communities, a different feel, a different approach. We have different needs all across the state. And so this is a chance to empower communities to have a more personalized feel, a more personalized approach to the very real issues we face. And so, for example, I represent Colorado Springs as a former military officer as well. The issues of many of our men and women heroes coming back from deployments are dealing with a lot of very serious issues.
Yeah.
In Colorado Springs, we need a unique way to deal with that. It's a different issue in Colorado Springs than say it is in Boulder or in Denver. And so I want us to have the ability and the resources to deal with that ourselves.
Right, you are a former Air Force Academy attendee and served in the Air Force.
Go Falcons.
Go Falcons. And tell me what that experience brought to the table as far as you becoming a state lawmaker.
You know, it's been really neat. In the military, it's important to see how you work with the other branches, how you work with the State Department to deal with a whole host of issues around the world. And it's not good enough to come up and just have one very narrow perspective on how we get things done. And I often feel that's what happens up here in the Capitol. We just get a very narrow perspective on what needs to be done. And that's why I propose this across-the-board cut to say, we can't, with all of our narrow perspectives out here, we're individuals, we can't be making decisions for 5.2 million people effectively. How do we empower people to build on their own perspectives? You see, if we knew everything, in this building, we actually could make a lot of difference. But let's be honest, we don't know everything. It's people who are best empowered to handle their own situations.
Is this legislation that you will bring back again if it fails, obviously, for this session?
Absolutely. I don't have too many unrealistic, optimistic thoughts that this is going to pass, but we want to start a dialogue. We want to start the dialogue that in record budgets here at the state level, we need to be rethinking because we have more issues, more problems, more people are hurting than ever before. How do we rethink the whole system of empowering people and creating opportunity at the local level?
All right, Senator Owen Hill, thanks so much for joining us for Comcast
Beverly,
Newsmakers.
thanks so much for having me.
Great to meet you.
Cheers.
And thanks for watching Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Beverly Weaver.